Welcome to Modern Marketing Messages, the leading podcast discussing the latest and greatest in both online and offline marketing tactics, strategies, and trends. I'm your host, Taylor Karg, marketing content writer at AmericanEagle.com. We are back after the new year and are really excited for everything we have in store this year. We're kicking things off with one of our favorite types of episodes, a one-on-one interview with a marketing expert. Today, AmericanEagle.com senior digital marketer Allison Lundberg is here to give us all of the details. Allison, welcome.
Hi, Taylor. Thanks so much for having me.
Yes, thank you for joining us today. Can you please introduce yourself a little bit, including, how long you've been working at AmericanEagle.com, a little bit about your role as a senior digital marketer, and then one interesting fact about you that's not work related.
Oh, boy. Okay. Well, I started in June of 2022, so still pretty new at American Eagle, but loving every second of it. My role as a senior digital marketer is really just to make sure that our digital marketing retainer clients have a strategy to be able to focus on all of their channels and whatever their channel needs and to grow that capacity as much as possible. So there's a lot of organization, a lot of digging in data and really figuring out how to enhance the client's goals.
Wow, so you sound like the perfect candidate to have on our show today, and we'll definitely get more into your role later down the road.
Perfect. Okay, so one fun fact about me. I'm really into running.
Oh,
so
fun.
Yeah, I've run 6 marathons.
6? Holy cow.
So I took a little hiatus to have 2 kids, but I did sign up for a fall marathon this year. So lucky number 7's coming.
Oh, wow. Best of luck. That's awesome. Have you run the Chicago Marathon since we're right around the area?
Yeah,
perfect.
That's my favorite one by far.
Oh, which other ones have you ran?
I've run the Air Force Marathon in Ohio. I've done the Wisconsin Marathon. I've done the Starved Rock Marathon, and I've even done the Marine Corps Marathon in Washington,
Whoa,
D.C.
that sounds intense.
Yeah, it was.
That's awesome. Well, I am the opposite of a runner, so I'm jealous of your capabilities. Let's just jump right in. And can you walk me through a few details of your background? Where did you go to school? What did you study? And kind of what's your work history like?
Totally. So I graduated from Ball State University. It's in Muncie, Indiana. Go Cardinals. I grew up in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Oh, you did?
Yes,
okay.
I did.
My best friend went to college in Fort Wayne, so
nice.
I know a little bit about the area.
Yep. So that was close to home, and that's what I wanted in my college experience because not a big city girl growing up. But when I went to Ball State, I knew I wanted to be in the College of Business, but I wasn't quite sure what my major was going to be. So I went through my first 2 years taking all the core business classes, and then by the time I became a junior, they were like, okay, it's time that you pick a major. I'm like, awesome. And I started going through the track. I was like, HR, no. Finance, definitely not. Econ, out of the question. And throughout my life, I've always had some sort of like artsy background. So whether it was in like choir or band or like I was always interested in like painting or like redecorating or things like that. So I was like, you know what? Marketing kind of like scratches that crafty itch because there's like design and a lot of content thought around that. So I decided to go the marketing route and I was like, you know what? We'll just give it a try.
The old college try, as they say.
Exactly. So I started down the marketing track and I absolutely loved it. Of course, every case study is on like Coca-Cola and the rebrand of New Coke and North Face and things like that. And so coming out of college, I was like, oh, I'm going to work for like this huge brand company. I'm like going to be this like rock star marketer.
Like you see in the movies. Yeah. I feel like I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. So then when I graduated college, I was actually dating a guy and he lived in Chicago. And I was like, you know what? Let's just give it a whirl, see where it goes. Feels different with this guy. So I actually got any job that I could in Chicago. And I actually ended up working for a rental car company for 1 year. And it was 1 year because it was just not where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
I really established myself with like my ethics and my values and like what I actually wanted to work towards. And that was not renting cars and pushing sales, damage waivers and collision waivers on people. It was even when I was working at the O'Hare Airport at one of the rental stations, I had 3 CEOs write letters to the airport manager saying like, Allison is amazing. Thank you so much. And I was like, oh gosh, wow, okay.
Yeah, okay,
so
awesome.
Like she really got me through the door. But then I realized you can't grow within the company unless you're top of the sales matrix.
Yeah.
And so that was like not where I wanted to be. That wasn't like the warm fuzzies. I wanted to help people. I didn't want to push money on them. So then I went to a job placement company, which kind of matched. It was like a a dating site for
Yeah.
potential employees and organizations. So I actually found an organization. It was a nonprofit association management center. And I got a job there as the marketing and communications coordinator. Ooh, that's
Okay.
kind of a mouthful.
Yeah, that sounds awesome though.
Yeah. So that really kickstarted like my marketing background and really made sure that I was like using my degree that I
Yeah.
went to go and get. So I was doing email and social media as the coordinator and then doing some website updates here and there. And then from there, I wanted to really expand my knowledge of the association world. And so I moved within the company to be an account manager, learned about financing, balancing the budget, government or governing within a board of directors. And then I realized I was really missing out on my marketing passion. So
Yeah.
a couple of years after that, I did find a marketing and communications manager role within that association management company. And I was there for 6 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you have a lot of like, perfect background to tee you up to things at AmericanEagle.com.
Yeah.
We have a ton of association clients here.
Mhm.
That's one of our biggest industries. And then obviously all of the like digital marketing kind of stuff that you were doing there too. So
Yeah.
can you tell us a little bit about what you did in that role in the 6 years that you were there? I'm assuming before you came here?
Yeah. So with that, I was managing their Facebook and Twitter account. Their Twitter was huge for the healthcare professionals. So really trying to figure out the strategy for that. And then also doing email campaigns. Like, how are we onboarding new professionals? How are we really engaging them, pushing new products, new events? Because associations are very cyclical. We have a summer course. We had an annual meeting. So it's like making sure that we're seeing those numbers grow. And then with that, I did manage our website. So any content updates or building out new pages or new modules, that kind of like turned me into like the more technology focused
Yeah.
role where
Mhm.
people were saying I was the translator between IT and the client because
Oh.
IT could not speak normal language
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
client. So that really kind of turned me a little bit towards the digital side.
Yeah, and that's perfect because my next question was going to be what was your path into digital marketing like? And it kind of seems like it all, worked its way into everything that you're doing now.
Yeah, it totally did. And I think it was really kickstarted during the pandemic because associations still do the postcards. They do like the membership renewal papers. And with the pandemic, that all just stopped. So we
Yeah.
had to find all those digital solutions to be able to get people to the websites. And that also turned into building out the website a little bit more, tracking conversions, how people are interacting with them, and things like that. So that really turned the corner for me to be all things digital.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. And I feel like, many people can, relate to that as things with the pandemic and kind of the switch to digital and all of that. So I
Yeah.
think, very relatable. So what led you to AmericanEagle.com in June?
Yeah. So, like I said before, associations are very cyclical. So, after 6 years of going through the same thing, I felt like I kind of like reached my limit because
Yeah.
associations are very budget conscious, really focused on revenue to an extent. But since it's a non for profit, you don't want to make too much.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I really wanted to continue learning, continue growing in my roles. And so, one of my association colleagues actually came here 6 months before I decided that I
Oh, no
needed to switch in
way.
roles.
Okay.
So Monica Moore, hello, Monica.
Oh,
Yeah,
awesome.
she's wonderful. And so I talked to her a little bit about it. Like, how do you like it? How do you like the agency world? And she said she really did enjoy that like change of pace that you get new clients. They always have new goals. Like everything's always changing. And I kind of wanted that like hustle and bustle, the buzz of every day.
Yeah.
So that kind of led me here.
Awesome. Well, welcome. We're glad to have you. And it's awesome
Thanks.
that you, got also be able to be referred by someone that you know. Because,
Yes.
as if some people didn't know, AmericanEagle.com is huge on referrals. And we love, having great employees refer other great employees like yourself.
Yes.
So let's get into your role as a, senior digital marketer. Can you tell me what your day-to-day is like?
Yeah. So I am assigned digital marketing retainer clients. And so I have about 13 clients right now. And so with that, I work with my account manager who does the day-to-day of speaking with the client, making sure our goals are moving forward, and I build the roadmap. So the channel strategy of what the client's goals are and how we're going to get there within the different channels. So it's really making sure the work's moving forward, really digging into that data, looking into Google Analytics, making sure there is upward more momentum. And if there are some roadblocks that the specialists are hitting, that we make sure that we find a solution for those so we can continue that upward trend.
Awesome. Do you have clients that are kind of like in one bucket? Like, are they in one industry? Are they kind of all over the place, or?
They're all over the place, which actually is really, really fun. So I have industrial mixers I actually do have medical association, which is very fun for me. So it scratches that itch a little bit. And then I even have like e-commerce, women's fashion. So it's
fun.
It totally varies. And it's really interesting getting to learn all the different industries and what their goals are and their tactics for getting either lead generation or e-commerce sales on their site.
And I feel like that keeps things kind of fresh, and like you never get too bored with one industry or just one topic. And there's many things I think to learn about all of those.
Agreed.
So what do you enjoy most about working as a digital marketer at a digital agency?
I think it's that challenge of every day is different. So you're not going to come into the door and just say like, okay, my first hour is this, my second hour is that. It's really figuring out like what happened overnight. What does the data look like and how am I going to solve this problem? So it's a lot of, I really love digging into data. So taking the time to do that is really awesome to be able to build that strategy.
Awesome. And, kind of in the same token, what do you enjoy most about marketing in general, and kind of, what your career has brought you so far?
Yeah. So it's that creativity side. So you get to like build the content, figure out who the client is and really kind of wordsmith who they are and what their message is. But also in my like day-to-day life, I love people watching, like going to concerts, like looking at people and just like seeing how they interact. And so that's kind of like a marketing, like consumer behavior thing. So really looking at what their behavior is, whether you're using Hotjar, just looking at quarterly data of how they're reacting to different things. It's really just like kind of putting on your detective hat and searching through like how they're behaving so you can make sure that you are utilizing everything that they're giving you.
Yeah, I love that. And that's kind of like the basis of what, all marketing is. That's what we try to do on our internal marketing team here too.
Totally.
What kinds of challenges do you face on a regular basis, and what are your tactics for finding solutions?
So my favorite thing and the challenging thing is digging through the data, trying to figure out what that strategy is going to be. Because if you see a dip in the data, it's like, oh gosh, what happened? And then you're digging through the channels. You're really looking to see how we can help support different channels that might have gone down. Also looking through like when Google has a new crawl or something else coming out that like might affect the way the data is coming in. It's like, okay, did this affect everybody else? And so how I got around that is being able to talk to the huge digital marketing team that we have. We have a Microsoft Teams group for all digital marketers, and you can just ask a question. And our team is so responsive. Everybody has an answer, and it helps you not feel like you're doing this alone. You have the support system there, and people will even take time to sit down with you for 30 minutes if you're like, wow, my team's really stuck. I need new, fresh eyes on this, and people are willing to help. So it's really awesome to have such a big resource within American Eagle.
I love that. And, it definitely helps to see and hear other people's perspectives on what's going on, because it may be something that, you and your team didn't necessarily think of in that moment.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That's awesome. Are there any specific tools or resources you utilize frequently to stay up to date with current marketing trends or to brush up any knowledge or skills?
Yeah, so I sign up for various newsletters and try to get that information that way. But then sometimes I feel like I don't have the time to read through all those newsletters. So I have them perfectly filed away in one of my Outlook folders. I have a rule created. And so when I want to go in and read and have some time to take a peek, then that's really helpful. One of the newsletters is SEO FOMO that I look at.
Oh, I should sign up for that one.
Oh, it's fun. But then honestly, YouTube has so much content and resources to really help you move forward, even with HubSpot or Yext or SEMrush or Google. They all have data and videos to help you learn the systems. And just overarchingly, like if I don't know a content term or a web term, there's always a YouTube video, which is really nice to be able to have that access at your fingertips.
Going back to what you said in the beginning of that response, just having a rule in your Outlook to, file those away. Because I'm like, I have a ton of newsletters too that are in my inbox. And I'm like, I never have time to really dig through these, kind of figure out what exactly could be useful for me. So I'm like, okay.
Yep.
Putting that in my
organization tip.
What's something you've learned about the marketing industry that's kind of stuck with you throughout your career?
That you really have to listen to the consumer, because I think we feel that as marketers, we have to continue to just like push things, and that like, oh, if I make this great social strategy, it'll just completely blow people out of the water that want to engage 100%. But if you're not talking to the right audience and you don't know who your end user or end buyer is, then it's not going to really function the way you want it to be and you want it to be successful.
Yeah.
And I think another thing is that your website is your number one marketing tool. I think people really think like, oh, it's social media or it's email or it's organic traffic. But when you drive people to the site, that's where they're going to make those conversions, whether it's lead generation or e-commerce. So you really need to have a site that is secure, that is up to date, that has a really good user flow so you can make that conversion as easy as possible for those users.
Awesome. And this is just a question that popped in my head while you were saying that. And you've worked in email, social, you do a lot of road mapping right now. What's kind of your favorite digital marketing tactic to work on?
Oh gosh, there are so many. I really am into organic SEO because we didn't do it a lot with associations because it's just like so fast. You're working on a bare bones team, trying to get as much done as possible, but really understanding that metadata that is in the back end of the web pages and really working with those Google crawlers, making sure your website is indexed. It's like so nerdy and I love it so much.
I love the honest answer.
Oh, yeah.
So what's something you're most excited about when it comes to, the future of marketing or digital marketing, whichever way you want to take that?
Yeah, I think it's just the continuation of the growth of data and how you can really pare down how a user is growing. So we're in the transition from universal analytics to GA4.
Yes,
and I'm like,
the dreaded transition.
Oh my gosh, I know everyone's like, what's happening? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We're working on it. So watching a lot of YouTube videos and trying to be in it as much as possible. But I think with the data, we're really trying to understand like what the solution is for the end user and how we can lessen the noise and really deliver exactly what they're looking for. So I know a lot of people are like really creeped out by like remarketing and like Big Brother's always watching, but Big Brother are your marketers who are like really trying to make your life a little bit easier.
I love that reference. And it was interesting to me what you said about, cutting through the noise. And I feel like that's even a huge issue that we have on our team is like all of us who are not necessarily trained in an SEO background, but we're learning via YouTube videos and poking around ourselves. We're like, how do we cut through the noise for ourselves too? So I can definitely understand doing that for customers as well.
Absolutely.
What's one piece of advice you have for young individuals looking to, study marketing college as you did, or, just pursue a career in marketing and digital marketing?
Yeah, so it's kind of twofold. Never stop learning because there are always changes in the tech industry and the marketing industry. And then always be listening. So you really want to have closed ears sometimes when you hear other people talking, because you could come out of college and be like, oh, you should be using Instagram, you should be using TikTok, you should be using Be Real, like do that.
Be Real.
I know. Some people are like, some of my clients are thinking like, should we make a Be Real? And I'm like, please don't.
No.
That's too hard.
So that's hilarious.
I know. So yeah, always keep listening and always keep learning. You're never at your end all be all. There's always something else to continue your growth, whether it's personal or professional.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So I want to ask you, one fun question to close out the episode. As we've learned, you're an experienced and a talented digital marketer. You seem to really enjoy what you do on a daily basis, which is awesome. However, if there was one job in the world and, not in digital marketing, what would your career be and why?
It's so funny. You keep asking me for one thing and I always have two answers.
Hey, no, give us my... It's hard to pinpoint one thing in this world full of everything.
It is. Yeah. So whenever I've been asked this question in my 11 years of being out of school, I've always had two answers. One is to play for like a concert band or a symphony orchestra.
Oh my gosh. What instrument?
Well, that records for movie soundtracks. Like that's what I want. Like
Yeah.
the Harry Potter soundtrack.
I was just going to say Harry Potter.
John Williams is my boy. But yeah, in high school and middle school, I played the trombone and the euphonium. So
oh my gosh, I don't even know what a euphonium is. I have to look
it's
it
like a
up.
small tuba.
Oh,
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Okay, that's a great answer.
Yeah, so that's
something I
part
was not
one.
expecting at all.
Secrets about Allison.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then part two, obviously with my running background, I would love to own like a women's empowerment fitness studio for women to just come who they are, how they are, whether it's mental health or physical health, just to kind of have like a home base where you'll be welcomed for who you are and have no shame or judgment.
Oh, Allison, my queen, I love that. That's
know,
so
right?
awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I learned a lot, about your background. I got to know you more as a person, and I had a great time. Thank you so much.
Me too. This was so fun. Thanks for having me.
Yep. Thank you for listening to Modern Marketing Messages. For more information about the topics discussed today, check out the description of this episode. If you like this episode, follow the podcast wherever you listen to them to stay up to date with us. While you're at it, give us a rating and share this podcast with others. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Modern Marketing Messages. This episode is brought to you by AmericanEagle.com Studios. I'm Taylor Karg, and I'll be back with another Modern Marketing Message.